side of the lake. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. I was hoping to shoot some video outside today, but it's like 104 degrees outside, so thought I'd just go ahead and shoot one here in the house real quick. I came across this video, this story this morning, and it bow hunter describes close encounter at dusk from his tree stand near Grain Valley. And this is a pretty interesting story I come across, and I thought I'd go ahead and share it with you guys. The next videos I'll be doing, hopefully I'll be getting outside some more, going down the lake, seeing what we can see, and just get outside and do some shooting. It's so much nicer outside, but right now it's just 104 degrees out, and I'm just not about to go out there and burn up. And I got me a new camera and a microphone, so hopefully this video will turn out a little better than my other videos I've been shooting on my phone. So this camera here was a donation to the channel, so I want to thank the person that donated it. I greatly appreciate it, and you know who you are. So okay, this one happened in 2015. It was winter time, it's November, and it's Jackson County, Missouri. This is I-70, location details. I-70 is about 2 miles south from my location. Okay, here it goes. This is pretty interesting right here. I'll try to do my best to read this as clear as possible here. Let's see. I've been keeping this to myself since last year. I have been a deer hunter for over 30 years and won't go back into the woods after what happened. I am going to bullet point this incident. I was deer hunting. Deer were running around the woods crazy that evening. I had a small buck run past my stand. It was getting dark, 5:30ish. He ran out into the middle of the field and stood there looking at the direction he came from for about 15 minutes. Then he ran off. 10 or 15 minutes later, I then heard this large something coming through the woods. Small trees breaking and leaves crunching. I had no idea what it was. I had my back against the wide tree, 16 feet in the air. The tree is wider than my back, and you can't see me or my stand from behind. It stopped right behind me. It is now dark. I could hear it breathing. It was 8 yards behind me. I didn't move. It stood there for about 5 minutes. Then started sniffing the air like it was smelling for something. Then it started to move slightly. It was dry out and leaves covered the ground, so you could hear anything move. Then 2 loud tree knocks. I then started to get a chill down my back. As I reached for my bow, I heard 2 screams. I had my bow in my hand, and my shooting trigger was on my bowstring. And I was at full draw. The screams vibrated the woods, clicked on my headlamp, and about 12 yards from me was an 8-foot tall, 700 to 800 pound tall black figure. It grunted when my light came on and ran along the riverbank and back into the woods. I did not see a face. I saw the back of it. I will say this, it was hunting that night. It was smelling for scent and chasing deer, looking for food. At the time, my bow was loaded with a 1.5-inch expandable broadhead arrowhead. Yes, I was at full draw, not knowing what was going on. When my light was on and I drew my bow back again, I was ready to shoot it if it came back across the stream. I know the exact yards as I have hunted this location for around 5 years. I bow hunt, so I need to know the yards for arrow placement. This Sasquatch, which what it was a massive animal. I don't know if it would have harmed anyone or persons, but the power that I could see in its body was unbelievable. Yes, I was scared, but I saw something that only a few people in the world have seen. And that was his story. Wow, that's amazing. Could you imagine? Holy cow, that thing coming up behind your stand, making all that noise, beating on trees. 700 or 800 pounds. I mean, we're talking a massive animal. Probably shoulders 4 or 5 foot across. Huge arms. Oh my gosh. I mean, that would scare the crap out of you. Okay, it was 6 o'clock in the evening, cold. I could see the ground from my elevated position. And here's the follow-up investigation. Report by BFRO investigators. I spoke with this witness for nearly an hour. Though we talked, of course, of a good bit about the incident, we also spoke of not letting this incident ruin his love of the outdoors and hunting. He has had time to relive the incident, and he has decided that he is going back out very soon to hunt and fish. I will go down the report line by line and add what was gathered during our conversation. As stated, he was in his stand 16 feet up, back against a tree, very wide tree, and his stand cannot be seen from directly behind. 5:30 to 6 p.m. in November, so it's getting dark, he stated. He sees pretty well at night. He was not using any lighting device at the time. Deer were plentiful, and he saw several, including the small buck he mentioned. After the small buck entered the open field and sniffed around at the direction he had come from, it left. He then heard something coming through the woods quite loudly, not being stealthy or covert at all. His initial thought was someone or a four-wheeler or a big buck crashing through the woods from the same direction the buck had came from. Thinking it was perhaps a trophy deer, he froze, just listening, and stated it stopped about 8 yards behind him, just past a small creek riverbank. As it stood there, breathing, this is when he realized that it was something else, something quite huge. He could hear and almost feel it breathing. It was huge, guttural, and you could hear the mass of the creature. Even though 25 feet or so away, he knew this was not an animal sound he was familiar with. It then began sniffing the air. Here, both looking for the direction of the deer and perhaps sensing the presence of the witness. He was hunting scent-free that night, meaning he was not making his human scent, being 16 feet up and completely blocked by the tree. It is entirely likely the creature did not see him, but may have smelled his presence. It began moving around a bit, and as he started to grab his bow, he heard 2 loud tree knocks. It did not knock on his tree, but the one closer to the creek or general area it was standing in. By this time he was still reaching for the bow and had his hand on it when two loud screams rang out, shook the entire woods, and I physically felt it, in his words. It was like yelling at me, "Hey, hey." By this time it was almost directly behind the tree he was standing in, no more than body length away from him. That's crazy. That's really close. It was pacing slightly and began sniffing the air once more. Again it was loud sniffing, drawing in huge amounts of air, as though it was on to something. Nothing he had ever heard or felt breathing before as it began to move off to the west a bit. Witness was facing south. He looked to the left at his 11 o'clock position and hit his headlamp. Oh boy, this is when he saw the creature. 7 to 800 pounds from the back, big, powerful, muscular, and it went up the riverbank away from him and disappeared into the woods. It was approximately 12 yards away when he saw it. He did not see the face. He did not see the face. He had an even so slight side view for a split second, more like the back of the head and side, where an ear would be. He did not see an ear. Hair was moving when he hit it with his headlamp, and it appeared dark brown or black. Witness is an experienced outdoorsman and hunter, and as stated, 30 years in the woods, and is more than familiar with any and all wildlife in the area. He was truly physically and emotionally shaken by the event at the time, and vowed he was never going back into the woods again. He has since had time to reflect and decide that his love of nature and hunting has won out over any concerns he had over the event. For this investigator to have a grown man, hunter, and woodsman admit he was frightened by something, in his words, takes a lot of courage, especially to a complete stranger. This, coupled with other known activity in the area, gives me no reason to doubt the veracity of this witness. Okay, and that's the story right there. That was pretty wild. I'm sorry if my reading's kind of choppy, but I just read this like one time beforehand, and I just wanted to get it on here real quick for you guys. That was a good one. I've heard some other stories online like this. There was another story about a guy out bow hunting, and it was a real foggy morning, and he's setting up in his stand, and he sees or hears something walking near him, or he hears it. He hears something walking up near him behind his stand, a lot like this guy. Only he's in dense fog all under his stand, and he can't even see the ground. And he's sitting there, and all of a sudden he's like 15 feet up in a tree, okay? And all of a sudden something grabs his foot. Reaches up out of the fog and grabs his foot, just like puts its hand on his foot. And he looks down, and it's like a big hairy hand. And oh my gosh. Yeah, I would just have a heart attack right there. I couldn't handle that. So, and there's quite a few hunting stories on here, guys that have been experienced hunters for a lot of years, and had different experiences like that on there. Let me go back here, and there was another one here I was gonna read. It's in Arkansas. Give me just a minute here. "113 sightings in Arkansas." Okay, this one happened in 2003. It's in Baxter County on State Highway 101 near its junction with US Highway 62, about 1.5 miles west of Norfolk Lake. Nearest town, Mountain Home. It was January of 03 in Baxter County, Arkansas. Location 62 and 101 intersection. Time was 2 to 3 a.m. Cold, clear winter night. Coming home from fishing, as we rounded the 30-mile-per-hour curve right before the stop sign, we were headed south on 101. An animal walking upright came into clear view as he was in my high beams and was on the west side shoulder. My buddy, who was with me, and I said not a word to one another. We were now at maybe 20 miles per hour as we watched this big critter who was standing upright take one step and went from the far side of the shoulder to the center line, where he paused for a moment. He looked us up and down, although we felt no fear from it. My buddy and I felt like he looked at each one of us. Me first, then my buddy, before turning his head straight. Then he leaned forward and put his knuckles on the pavement and swung his hips through his arms and was now on the far side of the east shoulder and was gone. Holy cow, that's crazy. So this was right down there before you get to Mountain Home, and that's something. So it stopped in the middle of the road, looked them both up and down, and then stuck its knuckles down on the road and swung its legs through its arms and shot off the side of the road. That is amazing. I've heard of them. There's many other stories of them going down on all fours and running. You know, they do like kind of a lope almost, or a gallop almost, kind of like a horse. They kind of, you know, gallop along on all fours. But alright, well that's it for now. I think this video's gone on long enough. That first story was pretty long. Like I said, I'll try to get back out there and do some more shots outside, try to bring you guys some scenery pictures and stuff like that. But for right now, it's just so hot, I don't want to get out there yet. You know, we probably got another week or two of this hot weather before fall starts kicking in, so maybe we can get out there. I'd like to actually go out there to where I've had some of my encounters and experiences on the lake, and I'm actually going to go out there and try to get up in them woods, take a camera with me. I'll take you guys along with me, and we'll go look around. I'll show you guys the tree. I found the tree that BigFoot actually, or Sasquatch, or whatever it was. I don't know what it was for sure, but I'm assuming that's what it was. The tree is actually, I found the tree. The water came up, the lake water came up, and the tree is only like 10 foot up the bank in the brush. So we'll get out there and we'll look at that and examine that tree. Heck, there might be some hair on the tree. I don't know. I haven't ever looked at it. So we'll go look at that and some other stuff. I'll try to bring you guys some more interesting content than just me sitting here reading stories. So. But anyway, I'll see you then, and if you don't mind, hit the like button, subscribe. Let me know what you think. If you want me to change some different stuff on here, let me know how the audio turns out, stuff like that. Alright everybody, have a good day. I'll see you later.